So I feel that this warrants its own video. You may have noticed it in the last one, little interesting contraption that I made. Basically, what I did was I took spent casings, a little 22 long rifle, and I stuffed it with some fiberglass. And when you dip the tip in, it will wick up the fluid that you choose to burn. I use denatured alcohol. And I put fiberglass in a 44 Magnum casing, spent. And again, you use the fiberglass to wick up your fuel. And then I drilled some holes, only 4. I made sure that they were totally uneven and not even the same diameter. But basically I just made this thing on a whim. And this is a 45 ACP. I took the primer out of the casing. So what I can do sometimes is I can use this to jumpstart if I don't have a lot of fuel in the triad. Even though I said that you don't need to jumpstart these, it helps. Let me do down the lights a little bit. I don't know if you can see that burning, but it helps to prime your fuel to help to get it gasified. And I'll use that little 22 stuffed with the fiberglass to do so. But the other thing that I'll do is once I've wicked up the fuel inside of the 44 Magnum and inside of the 22 long rifle, is I'll pop the 22 long rifle into where the primer would go on the 45 ACP, and then I'll put the 45 ACP over top of the 44 Magnum, and then I'll use a lighter. You can almost hear that, to start to gasify the fuel inside the 22 and prime the burn out of the ports of the 45 ACP. And that'll heat up through conduction. It'll heat up all the casing, and it will help to gasify the alcohol and bring it out of those ports. Now generally, this won't throw as many BTUs as the other alcohol burners, but it throws enough that 2 to 3 burns will boil a cup of water, each burn going about 2 minutes each. But it'll boil a cup of water, which is just enough to get your 8 fluid ounces of coffee or even tea. And you'll probably seen me do that in the other video, and it was probably a lot more interesting than any of the other stuff that I had showcased. But a little bit of know-how, a little bit of ingenuity. Cobble together your own alcohol stove. Some people will come onto these channels and they'll brag about how they made one out of a tuna can, or like a Foster's in a Fancy Feast or whatever. But yeah, it's basically just about having something that's metal sandwiched, something that can wick in between them, preferably something that's not flammable, like fiberglass, or I think some people use whatever the cloth is for welding. I think they have like a carbon fiber. But yeah, just a little something.